powered by Riverside FM.
The Minnesota Vikings are in a really, really good spot. And it's just amazing to me where they are and where they came from since the Mike Zimmer era. You know, every NFL team had a before. When you look at all the great dynasties that are out there, every NFL team had a before, a moment where fans just kind of questioned everything, kind of like where we are now with the purple. I think we questioned a lot whether or not Aaron Rodgers is coming to the team, who's going to be our quarterback too, why are we drafting an offensive lineman? All those questions are fair questions, UP Nation. All of them are fair. All of them are fair, Skull Nation. Today, I want to dive into teams that had dynasties and what they looked like before the dynasty. The New England Patriots, what were they like? The Kansas City Chiefs. We remember the Kansas City Chiefs, don't we, before their dynasty, and the great Pat Mahomes. The San Francisco 49ers, before their run. These teams went on to accomplish just a lot of great things. And it seems to me that the Minnesota Vikings just may be walking the same path. Think about it. Pre-2001, UP Nation, the Drew Bledsoe era. Remember that? They had a, if I remember correctly, the New England Patriots had a stacked defense, an amazing defense, if I remember correctly, but they really didn't have a clear answer at quarterback. I mean, Drew Bledsoe was all right. But he wasn't to the level of Tom Brady. They had coaching uncertainty. Then Bill Belichick arrived with the plan. Now, remember, Bill Belichick was with the Cleveland Browns for a while and got jettisoned out of Cleveland because he couldn't win. Came in, really destroyed a great culture with Bernie Kosar, Webster Slaughter, Brian Brennan, Reggie Langhorne, Clay Matthews, and the boys. Bill Belichick went in there and couldn't win. Ended up with the New England Patriots. The pre-2018 Kansas City Chiefs, UP Nation. Alex Smith years. Not great years. They were okay. But it pales in comparison to the Pat Mahomes years. Remember, Alex Smith had that just horrific leg injury for the Kansas City Chiefs. They took a risk on a quarterback, an air raid quarterback from Texas Tech and Pat Mahomes, and it changed everything. This was pre-dynasty, UP Nation. Just sit back and think about where I'm going with this. Everything changed once Andy Reid arrived from Philadelphia. And if you remember, in Philadelphia, Andy Reid couldn't win. He couldn't win the big game. He had Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens. They got close, but no cigar. That was Andy Reid at the time. 49ers, you can go the pre-Walsh era or the pre-Shanahan era, but they were a mediocre team to the bottom. They assembled both times the right coaching and player leadership over time. They didn't look like dynasties, but they were putting together all the pieces. Look at the Minnesota Vikings right now, UP Nation. Look at the Minnesota Vikings. You talk about adding pieces over a series of times and over a series of moments. You add a coach like KOC, general manager like Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, and a franchise quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. Very talented, raw, kind of low expectations, I mean, the expectations are high, but everybody's talking about he didn't come from a pass-happy system. So he must not be able to throw the ball because Harbaugh didn't allow him to throw the ball. He has all these question marks like Brady, who was a, 6th, 7th round pick, somewhere in there. Pat Mahomes, offense he came from was basically like a hybrid run and shoot, tricked up. All of these questions are the same questions that J.J. McCarthy is facing today with the Minnesota Vikings. All of these teams had creative front offices. Like we have here, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. Offices that took calculated risks, focusing on long-term roster rebuild. You know the term, UP Nation, competitive rebuild, as Kwesi would say. You get a coach, young coach, Kevin O'Connell, like Andy Reid, Shanahan, and Belichick, still finding his voice in the locker room and within the organization, but well-respected around the league, well-respected within the organization, well-respected general amongst the troops. It's Kevin O'Connell. Young stars that are in leadership positions like those teams. UP Nation, you know what I'm talking about. Justin Jefferson is the cornerstone. Justin Jefferson has already showed you the power that he has. He has transfixed the league with the gritty. Not only is everybody doing the gritty in the NFL and everybody's doing the gritty in college, but everybody's doing the gritty on every street corner. That's how impactful Justin Jefferson is. That's how impactful he is on and off the field. Christian Darrisaw, Jordan Addison, hopefully a guy like Mekhi Blackman. All of these guys are more impactful than others, but they're all just kind of pieces to the team. The one thing that you have to build a dynasty is that you have to have what all of these great teams have in common. You can even go to the NBA with the Golden State Warriors where they were with Mark Jackson, but they decided to make a change and go with Steve Kerr. You've got to have culture buy-in, don't you, UP Nation? The Vikings seem to have that right now. When it comes to our culture, we are second to none in the league. We have guys climbing over themselves. If they're not money-driven and playing time-driven, they're trying to get here to Egan in Minnesota. You got to be patient with the young quarterback. We're in position to do that for the Minnesota Vikings. Every one of those great teams had that quarterback that had to step in, and their level of patience was absolutely paramount into the success of that quarterback. And even when the puzzle pieces start fitting together and everything, you could just see it growing. All the pieces started fitting together. They continued to draft and develop talent. Look at the Minnesota Vikings this year. As great as we were last year, 14-4, with a supposed washed-up quarterback, what did we do during the offseason? We saw what the problem was. We saw it was the trenches. We went in and we fixed the trenches. UP Nation. Can you smell what I'm getting at? Like all of these great teams and all of these dynasties had this start in common, this common start. And the Minnesota Vikings, man, are right there. I'm not blowing smoke at you. This is unconventional playbook. I'm just trying to get you to see the comparisons. Great teams, great dynasties, They avoid panic trades. They sacrifice for long-term flexibility. Danielle Hunter, Kirk Cousins. Now we have that long-term flexibility. And there were most people that's saying, oh, we let those guys go. We're not going to be the same. We need Kirk Cousins to be here. What are we going to do at quarterback? Danielle Hunter's one of the best pass rushers in the league. But Kwesi Adofo-mensah, the guy who's paid to make the hard decisions, came in and made the hard decisions. Emotions be damned. We had to let him go. And now you see the fruits of our labor. Skull Nation, Purple Nation, UP Nation. You saw the fruits of our labor this offseason and what the byproduct is in making those hard decisions. The Patriots weren't a dynasty in 2000, but they became one. The Chiefs weren't a dynasty in 2017, but they became one. And right now, UP Nation, right now, if you just look at the direction that our team is going culturally, physically, quarterback-wise, coaching-wise, general manager-wise, ownership-wise, facility, culture, the Vikings might just be where those teams were, on the brink of a dynasty. Everything is in place, UP Nation. This isn't a prediction by me. All I'm doing is presenting the blueprint. My question to you is, are the Vikings next? You can just smell it and see it, UP Nation. How exciting is it to be a fan of the purple? Just give it time and let it marinate. And J.J. McCarthy, Justin Jefferson, KOC is going to get us to the promised land. This has been Unconventional Playbook. Please hit that like and subscribe button. And as always, UP Nation, we will see ya when we see ya. Skol!